All right. I have Mr. Lamar Coffee on the line, and he was a master sergeant in the United States Air Force. And how many years, Mr. Coffee, did you serve?
21 years.
21 years. Thank you so much for your service to our country, our community, and our people. so, today, like I stated, we're honored to speak with Mr. Lamar Coffee, Master Sergeant Lamar Coffee, a veteran of the United States Air Force. This project preserves the stories of local African American veterans whose service and lives helped shape their families and our community. So before we begin, I'm going to have to get a release sign from you, granting Unsung Heroes Living History Project, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, permission to record and to use this interview in documenting and archiving and exhibiting. Do I have your permission?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and your life before the military.
Well, I was born in a little town in Oklahoma. The town was Anadarko, Oklahoma. My father was a farmer, so I grew up working on the farm, and I had I had 6 brothers and a sister. Uh, so we worked on the farm until my brothers grew of age to join the military. They joined the military, and so my father decided he was not going to have enough help to run the farm, so we moved into the city, town of Anadarko. We were there until I turned 14. When I turned 14, my father decided to move us to California. So we moved to Stockton, California in 1954. So I went to school in Stockton, high school, and 1 year of college at the local. I lost the word, but anyway, it was junior
Community
college.
college, community college.
Yes, yes, it was Stockton College. So I went to school there. Actually, it was a strange situation because at the time we didn't have a senior high school there, and the senior high school were taught at the junior college.
Wow.
So when I graduated from high school, it was Stockton High School at junior college. So after the high school, then I continued on for a year at the Stockton College.
Okay.
After that, I joined the Air Force.
And what
Joined the Air Force. Pardon?
I was going to ask what motivated you to join the military.
Well, I guess probably the fact that all of my brothers, my older brothers, had served in the military, and so I guess I just saw what they did and thought that, well, that's what I should do. So
Okay.
I did. I joined the military in 1957.
Okay. All right. And
Went to, go ahead, I'm sorry.
can you describe your first days in boot camp or training?
Well, I was fortunate in a way and maybe unfortunate in other ways, but I went in June to uh, San Antonio, Texas, to Lackland Air Force Base. And I had 13 weeks of basic training there. Uh, Now, I would have gone to what they call a tech school after basic training, but I had prior experience in electronics, and so I was able to go directly into a job in the Air Force as a at that time, it was a radio technician. So that I did. So after Lackland Air Force Base, I went to Kelly Air Force Base, which was probably about 3 miles down the road from Lackland Air Force Base. I went there, and I was assigned to uh, a squadron that did a lot of work and photographs to make manuals to send out to the field for the information that people needed to know, and that's what we did. We assembled equipment, and we didn't do the verbiage. All we did was assemble the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there for about 9 months, and I got orders to go to Germany. So I went to Germany in 1959. I went to Germany.
Okay.
And I was there. I was stationed at a mobile communication squadron. And what we did was we traveled to different Air Force bases in Europe, and we did our job, which I don't think I can say what that job was, but it was the Air Force specialty that I was trained to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent three years, but I also was the first base that I went to in Europe was an Army base.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I was in the Air Force, I went to an Army base, and so then from there, still in Europe, I went to Rhine-Main Air Force Base. Rhine-Main used to be the base that you flew into when you came from the United States to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
You would fly into military people would fly into Rhine-Main Air Force Base. So I worked there for a few months, and then they transferred me to Wiesbaden Air Force Base.
Mm-hmm.
And Wiesbaden was just a few miles from Frankfurt, Germany. So anyway, I completed my tour. My first tour in Germany, I completed it in 1964. And from there, I went to Minot, North Dakota. So I spent oh, no, I take that back. I'm sorry. I did not go there. I went from there, I went to Wichita, Kansas.
Okay.
To McConnell Air Force Base, Wichita, Kansas. So I spent 3 years there, and while I was there, I went TDY to Cross City, Florida, which is what they call an air station.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent 3 months there. Then I got promoted to staff sergeant while I was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to re-enlist in order to accept that promotion. So I re-enlisted, and as soon as I re-enlisted, I got orders to Thule, Greenland, and so I spent a year in Thule, Greenland, which is it's almost at the North Pole. It's close to the North Pole. So anyway, then from Thule, Greenland, I went back to Europe, back to Germany, and I spent another 4.5 years in Germany at a base called Hahn Air Force Base.
Mm-hmm.
And so While I was at Han, I went on a TDY trip. We were supposed to go on a 3 country TDY trip, and it started out in Athens, Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went. Well, actually, I say Athens, Greece. It's actually off the coast of Athens. It was Crete, the island of Crete. So I went to TDY there. And we were supposed to go from there. We were supposed to go to Calcutta, and but we never made it because the Vietnam War was going pretty hot at that time. So one of the places we were supposed to go then after Calcutta was to Thailand, but they turned us around and we went back home. So then after my tour uh, at Han Air Base, I I went back to Minot, North Dakota.
Okay.
Minot, North Dakota. Uh, at that time, other than the aircraft that flew in and out of that base, it also was a missile base. So I was stationed at the missile component at Minot,
Uh-huh.
and so my job there, I was a supervisor then. So we took care of the missile sites there. The communication equipment on those missile sites was my responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed there for, oh, I think maybe 2 years there. And then I got orders again, and this time it was to Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Thailand. That was another continent tour. In other words, I could not take my family.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Thailand, and that was in support of the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent a year there, and I was a supervisor there. I took care of the flight facilities, radio equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was a year tour there. And then after that, I was stationed again at McConnell Air Force Base in Wichita, Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
So while there, I was selected to attend the NCO Academy in Barksdale, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and I came out with a good position so far as the students. I don't remember now what position I was, but it certainly was not the lowest, but it was up pretty high.
Awesome.
And so anyway, then so I was sought to go to a inspection squadron. So I was asked to if I would be willing to transfer to California to Vandenberg.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, sure, why not? I thought I liked California, so I said, well, why not?
Mm-hmm.
However, we were surprised because I told my wife and family how beautiful and how warm it was. Well, we arrived in Lompoc, California, and the year we came, it was cold. My daughters wore maxi coats, and they said, "Dad, when is it going to get warm? when can we go swimming?" So, but I think they got sort of used to it because they're still in the area. So anyway, that was at Vandenberg. It's where I was in a inspection group,
Mhm.
and we flew to all the different missile bases. Now, my experience was such that I could go to any of the missile bases. Because at that time you had Titan bases and Minuteman bases.
Mhm.
Well, some people were just qualified for either Minuteman or Titan,
Mhm.
but my group they uh, was composed of people who were qualified in both Minuteman and Titan.
Mhm.
So I traveled probably I guess every other month or so. We were out at one of the bases, and we normally went to the the northern bases. We went in the wintertime, and the southern bases we went in the summertime. Now I don't know why that was that way, because can you imagine? You can imagine going to uh, in Arizona in the summertime. So, but that's the way it was set up. So anyway, I was with that squadron for 3 years, and so after that, uh, I had a choice of either staying with that squadron or going getting an assignment elsewhere.
Mhm.
So I chose to leave the squadron, and so I was given a position on Vandenberg as the superintendent of communications. So I spent, let's see, what, 2 years, I guess it was, as a superintendent uh, at the systems branch at Vandenberg. And that's where I retired. I had 21 years, and so I decided to retire. Well, I was also given a choice to go to Turkey,
Mhm.
and it's, the choice was you take the assignment and go to Turkey, or you have to retire. So I decided to retire.
Mhm.
So
Okay. Was there someone who you served with that you remember and admire the most?
yes, uh, there was a there's several people, uh, and I have to try and see if I can come up with their names because uh,
That's okay. Take
oh,
your
there
time.
was a captain. There was a captain that was very nice when I served the second tour in Germany. There was a Captain Loud, and he he was one of the finest officers that I had uh, served under.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then at my second tour at McConnell in Wichita, Kansas, there was I'm not sure if he was a master sergeant or a tech sergeant, but he was someone I looked up to. He was a very smart guy, and I can't think of his name. I'm sorry, I can't think of his name.
That's all right. That's all right.
But
Well, if you think of it, we can come back to it. So, how did you
okay,
stay connected with family back home?
at that time it was letters. It
Mhm.
was letters because you didn't have what we have now, the cell phones and stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you wrote, excuse me, you wrote letters then.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So as a matter of fact, believe it or not, I have a lot of the letters, maybe most of the letters that I got from my mother. I have them still.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And during which time did you get married? Where were you? How did you meet your wife?
Oh, I left that point out, and that's an important point. On my first tour to Germany, I I there was a guy who worked in the shop where I was working, but he was a teletype repairman, and him and his wife and family, they lived in a little town not far from where I was stationed. And so he told me one day, he said, "Why don't you come by? There's a young lady I'd like you to meet." And so I didn't at once. I didn't go. I sort of wasn't sure that I was interested.
Uh-huh.
But he kept asking me, "Well, why don't you come by? Why don't you come by?" And so finally I did. I went by, and there was this nice young lady, German lady,
Uh-huh.
and and so he introduced me to her. I didn't speak hardly any German, but she spoke a little English. But I guess it was enough because 9 months later we got married.
All right.
So, and we still are married.
Oh,
So
beautiful. Beautiful.
64 years.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, so in all of your military goings and comings, did you experience or challenge any challenges related to race during your
Oh
service?
yes. Oh yes. When I left my that first assignment at Kelly Air Force Base, I there was another guy. He was headed to Dayton, Ohio, and he said, "Why don't you ride with me?" And then I don't know if I went to Dayton or where it was, but he said, then you can get a bus from there on into Maryland, because I had to go TDY to Maryland to go to a special school. So I said, okay. So we started out, and he had car problems. And the thing that I really wished I had remembered and written it down, because I don't remember the town, but we went to the town in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and while they were working on his car, he said, "Well, let's go. Is there some place we can go and get breakfast?" And so they told him, "Oh yeah, just across the street." So we go across the street, and on the window was a sign that said, "Colors follow the arrow." And so the arrow went down and around the side of the building and into the kitchen.
Mm.
And in the kitchen, you had an orange crate that you sat on, and an orange crate turned up on its end, and that's what you ate from.
Mm.
And to this day, I thought, if I had known this, I probably would have starved. I would not have gone. But the guy I was riding with, he said we'll eat there. And so then that I had not run into anything that bad racial wise before at all. I mean, sure, there were some things, but not like that. But then on our way to Dayton, we we stopped at a service station to get gas, and there was a restaurant there. And so we go there, and at that time, you didn't have the self-service stations like you have today. And so they wouldn't sell us gas. They said, let Kennedy uh, pump your gas.
Mm.
And at that time, President Kennedy was in office.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, okay, we leave that. We leave that, and I go with him, and he drops me off at the bus station. I think it was in Ohio, and I take the bus station into Baltimore, Maryland. So I am wearing my uniform.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice, pressed, and I thought I was looking pretty sharp. So I go sit down at the counter, the lunch counter, And I was promptly told that they didn't serve blacks at the counter. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh, here I am in the military going off to, to defend this country. I'm told that I cannot eat at the counter. So I didn't eat at all until I got out to where I was going to Baltimore, Maryland. I was going to NSA for special training. But that was the worst that I had while in the military.
Mm-hmm. Did the military
But
provide a sense of unity or brotherhood that felt different from civilian life?
oh yes, yeah, and I think it was because we were all in the same. I say we were all in the same boat, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And you became closer, I think, to the people that you served with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that, they had in 1940, was it 1946, where Truman uh, desegregated the military. I think it was 1946. But anyway, so I never received any bad relationships, and I was, and back then you roomed. Normally you had what they call open bay barracks, so where you had maybe you might be you might have up to 10 people in that big room
Mm-hmm.
where you slept, and there was no problems. And because I think like I said, we were both all in the same boat, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and we got along good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, coming home, what was the transition like when you returned to civilian life?
that was kind of easy because I started sending out resumes because, like I say, I was at Vandenberg. I started sending out resumes because there were lots of different companies on the base at that time. And there was also a company down in Lompoc, uh, General Electric. But at the time, I didn't know that. So I didn't send out a resume to them at that time. But I did send out resumes to people, all the different companies that I thought would be interested in hiring a person with electronic knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. Uh, I did get a job working with a company that they were going to refurbish the equipment at Thule, Greenland. But I didn't know that. I didn't know. They didn't say, when I read the article in the paper, all it said was there's this company that needs technicians on a project that they've been awarded. And so I said, okay, that sounds good. So I went in for an interview and I got hired. But then once I got hired, that's when I found out that we were building equipment to modernize the B-News sites on Thule, Greenland. And there was 2 other sites too. But I thought about that and I said, gee, I don't really want to go back to Thule, Greenland. I was there once.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I accepted the job and I worked there maybe about 6 months. And then I ran into a guy that I knew in the service,
Mm-hmm.
and he told me, he says there's a company on base that's looking for electrical technicians.
Mm-hmm.
So you ought to put your resume in. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, why not? Because I don't really want to go to Greenland. I've been there. So
Mm-hmm.
I went, turned in my resume there. And at the time, the company was RCA. And what they did was they manufactured weather satellites in New Jersey, and then they shipped the satellites out to Vandenberg and launched the satellites. So anyway, I got an interview, and they seemed to be interested in me, and so then they put me on a telephone interview with a higher up in the company, and I guess he gave them his blessings, and so I was hired.
Mm-hmm.
So then, and then the company that I was leaving, I told them I was leaving, and the lady there said, "Well, why?" Said, "If it's money, they could have offered you more than they offered you." But I'd made up my mind. I said, "No, I've made up my mind. I'm going to go with this other company."
Mm-hmm.
So I did. So I went with RCA, and RCA, like I said, I used to go. Well, RCA actually sold the the company, that portion of their company, to uh, General Electric.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere along the line, I've missed one thing too, because there was a, oh no, okay, the first job that I had, I, I have to back up some now, is when I retired from the Air Force, and I sent all these resumes in. The company that I got hired with was a company in Lompoc, and it was General Electric,
Okay.
and they built solid state uh, control system for nuclear power plants. So I got hired there, and well, I went in, oh, probably 3 or 4 months before I was retiring, and the lady says, I got interviewed and stuff. The lady said, well, when you get down to, about a month left, come back and see us. And I thought, well, am I being given a brush off? She said, no. She said, no, we would like to hire you, but you need to come back about a month before you are retiring. If you still would like to go to work, then we'll talk. And sure enough, I did. I went back, and they hired me as a engineering job, and so and but this, unfortunately, the job didn't last because at that time they were not going to commission any more nuclear power plants. So the jobs that they thought they had all of a sudden went away.
Oh.
So they were going to close the place in Lompoc, and the anything that we were working on would go to Sunnyvale. And so they asked me, would you like to transfer to Sunnyvale? And I thought about that, and I thought, I've heard that it's pretty expensive there, and I think I'll just stay in the area and see if I can find work. So I did,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I ended up working for RCA.
Mm-hmm.
RCA, and then again RCA sold us to GE, so then I was back working for General Electric again.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
and
So, how do you think military service changed you as a person?
let's see. I don't think it changed my values any,
Mm-hmm.
because my father he and mother,
Mm-hmm.
they were very strict so far as values.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew what was right and what was wrong. So that didn't change. Now let's see. I don't know. I don't know what would have changed me anything. I can't right off. I cannot think of any way that the military actually changed me.
That's fine. What are you most proud of from your time in the military?
I went in the military, and as a young person, I my thoughts was I don't want to do anything that will embarrass my family. I won't want to do anything that would embarrass the Air Force or the United States. And I served 21 years, and I never did anything to embarrass my family, and never did anything to embarrass the Air Force, and nothing that would embarrass the United States. So I was proud of that.
All right.
I am proud of that.
Yes. What advice would you give to a young family member considering military service today?
Persons, I would tell them this. I think it's a wonderful thing to go in the military, get experience for one thing in a job, and it's a good feeling to know that you are supporting, the military in the United States, the country of
Mm-hmm.
America.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a good learning experience because a lot of jobs are not accessible unless you have some
Mm-hmm.
experience.
Mm-hmm.
So you come out of the service, you've had experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I would person if they don't have you know uh, a, a burning desire to do something like to become a doctor or whatever, if they don't have that desire, even if they have the desire, the service will. If you spend time in the service, you can you're qualified to uh, go to school under the I forgot now what it's called.
GI Bill?
GI Bill. There you go. The GI Bill. So now I didn't use it to as far as I should have. I did use it, but I didn't. I got associate's degree, but that was it
Mm-hmm.
because I I got to a point where I thought financially it's not going to help me much
Mm-hmm.
because I was working then as an engineer, so it's not going to help me any.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, I would tell a young person that it's a good opportunity to learn if you don't have a skill, to learn a skill,
Mm-hmm.
and especially in the Air Force. I mean, there's a lot of skills that you can learn, electronics, mechanical, a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my advice to them.
How would you like your service to be remembered by future generations?
Well, like I said, I received honorable discharge, so that means that the work I did, I mean the service that I rendered to the Air Force, to the United States, qualified me to retire with honorable discharge.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to share before we close?
Well, I am, even though there are a lot of things a lot of negative things going on in the world at this time, I can't think of any other country that I would want to be, you know, a citizen of.
Mm-hmm.
I am proud of my citizenship in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's what I would tell anybody that asked me how I felt,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the way I feel. Like I said, I don't like everything that's going on, but I still think that overall it's still a pretty good country.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr.
So
Coffee, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. Your service and experience are an important part of our community's history, and we are honored to help preserve it for future generations to come. Thank you so much.
you're quite welcome.
Okay.
I I hope that I answered some of the questions and you got something out of it that you can use.
Definitely. We definitely did. And thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording now.
Okay, all righty. Okay.